Loneliness. It's one of those words that's hard to say out loud because saying it feels like an admission, like you're confessing something you're supposed to have figured out by now. But I want to say it clearly today, right at the start of this video, because it matters. Loneliness among older adults is one of the most serious, most widespread, and most underdiscussed health crises in North America and Europe right now. Not mental illness, not a character flaw, a health crisis. The U.S. Surgeon General called it an epidemic. Health authorities in the United Kingdom appointed a minister for loneliness. Canadian health researchers describe it as a risk factor comparable to smoking 15 cigarettes a day. And yet, we barely talk about this. So today we're going to talk about it. And we're going to answer a question that I suspect many of you have wondered about, but maybe have never said it out loud. Can my smartphone actually help me? Can technology, the same technology that we've spent several episodes talking about its risk and its dark patterns, can it genuinely fight loneliness? Or does it make us feel more alone? The answer is actually both. And it entirely depends on how you use it. Welcome back to The Mind and the Machine. This is episode 8. And today we're going to give you the real research-backed answers and practical tools you can use tonight. Before we talk about solutions, let's make sure we're talking about the same thing. Because loneliness is not the same as being alone. You can be completely alone, living by yourself, no visitors, no calls, and feel perfectly content. And you can be surrounded by people at a family gathering in a crowded room and feel profoundly lonely. Loneliness is the gap between the social connection you have and the social connection you want. It's subjective, it's internal, and it doesn't care how many people are technically in your life. Now, why does it get worse as we get older? Think about the structures that filled your life with regular human contact. A workplace, a school, a community, children in the house, a neighborhood where people knew each other, a church or community organization that met every week. And as we move through our 60s and 70s, many of those structures quietly disappear. Retirement ends the daily rhythm of workplace belonging. Children build their own lives, often in different cities. Friends move away, and some of them, as hard as it is to say, they unfortunately pass away. Mobility changes. Driving at night becomes harder. Winters become more isolating. A health issue can suddenly make what used to be easy feel almost impossible. And the world doesn't really prepare you for any of this. Nobody hands you a guide that says, here's what to expect when these structures disappear. Here's how to rebuild connection. None of that. So many people quietly manage a level of loneliness they would never admit to their doctor, their children, or even themselves. And I want to spend a moment here because this is important. Loneliness is not just an emotional experience. It's also a biological one. When your brain registers social isolation, it triggers the same threat response any physical danger does. Your stress hormones rise, your immune system weakens, your cardiovascular system becomes under pressure, and your sleep deteriorates. Over time, chronic loneliness is associated with a 29% increased risk of heart disease, a 32% increased risk of stroke, and a significantly higher risk of cognitive decline and dementia. Now, let me say that again. Loneliness is a risk factor for dementia. This is not about being sensitive or emotional. This is biology. Your body was built for connection. When it doesn't get enough of it, it starts to break down, which means that anything that genuinely reduces loneliness is not a luxury. It is medicine. So, can a smartphone help? Well, let's look at what the research actually says. A growing body of peer reviewed studies and published in journals across North America and Europe have examined exactly this question. And the finding that comes up again and again is this: active technology use reduces loneliness. Passive technology use increases it. And we talked about passive versus active back in episode 4 when we discussed the comparison trap on Facebook. But it is even more important here. Passive use means scrolling, watching, reading, absorbing, never initiating. Active use means reaching out, sending a message, making a call, posting something, joining a group, participating in a community. When researchers looked at older adults who used technology actively, who used it to initiate and maintain real relationships, they found lower rates of loneliness, lower rates of depression, and better overall psychological well-being. When they looked at older adults who used technology passively, who watched other people's lives without engaging in their own, the results went the other direction. And that's not a surprise. More anxiety, more isolation, more depression. The technology itself is neutral. It's a tool. Like any tool, the outcome depends entirely on how you use it. Now, I want to be honest with you here because I think you deserve honesty more than you deserve any false comfort. Technology cannot replace physical presence. It cannot replace the warmth of sitting beside someone, the comfort of a hand on your shoulder, the specific kind of calm that comes from being in the same room as someone who knows you. Human beings are wired for physical proximity. Our nervous systems are literally calibrated by the presence of other people, their breathing, their warmth, the micro expressions on their faces. No screen can fully replicate this. And research consistently shows that in-person social contact produces stronger reductions in loneliness than digital contact alone. So I'm not here to tell you that your phone is a substitute for real human connection. It's not. What I am here to tell you is that for millions of people who live far from family, people who have mobility challenges, people who have lost their social circle and are slowly rebuilding it, technology can serve as a genuine bridge, not a destination, a bridge. And when you use it that way, intentionally, actively, purposefully, it can make a real and measurable difference in how connected you feel. Now let's get practical for a minute, because I know some of you you're sitting there thinking, okay, but what do I actually do? Here are the specific ways that technology has been shown to reduce loneliness in older adults. Let's start with number 1, video calling. It is the closest thing technology has to physical presence. Seeing someone's face, hearing their voice in real time, watching their expressions. Research confirms that video calls produce measurably better emotional outcomes than phone calls alone, and dramatically better outcomes than text messages. FaceTime on iPhones, WhatsApp video, which works across any phone, Google Meet and Zoom, which work on computers and tablets as well. And if you're not doing regular video calls with the people who matter to you, this is the single most impactful change you could make right now. Schedule them the way you would schedule doctor's appointments. Put them in your calendar. Make them a habit. Because consistency and connection is what the research points to. A regular Tuesday call with your daughter does more for your well-being than an occasional call whenever someone remembers. Now, number 2, group chats for family and close friends. WhatsApp and iMessage both allow group chats where multiple people can share photos, messages, and updates throughout the day. These work particularly well for staying connected with family members across different time zones, whether that's a grandchild in Vancouver or a sibling in Manchester or your friend in Florida. The key is participation. Don't just watch the messages arrive. Respond, ask questions, share something of your own. Even a single photo of what you're cooking for dinner invites a reply and turns a passive feed into a real conversation. Now, number 3, online communities. They're built around genuine shared interests. This is underused and underestimated. Loneliness is not simply about the number of people in your life. It's about having people who understand you, who share your interests, who speak your language. The internet gives you access to these communities of people who care about exactly the same things that you do. Whether that's gardening, history, classic films, a specific health condition, a faith community, a hobby you've had for decades. Facebook groups remain one of the largest platforms for this in the world. Reddit has communities called subreddits for almost every interest imaginable. Dedicated forums and membership communities offer even deeper connection. When you find your people online, people who light up at the same things that you do, loneliness doesn't stand a chance. And number 4, learning together. Online courses, YouTube channels, and virtual workshops give you not just content, but shared experience. When you're watching a series, learning a skill, or following along with something that other people are also doing, and when there's a comment section or a community attached to it, you become part of something larger than yourself. That sense of shared purpose and shared experience is one of the most powerful antidotes to loneliness that researchers have identified. Number 5, digital pen pals and one-on-one messaging. This one sounds old-fashioned, but it actually works. There are programs specifically designed to match older adults with pen pals through email or messaging apps. Some are intergenerational and connecting older adults with younger people who benefit from their wisdom and experience. If structured programs aren't your style, think about someone you've lost touch with, a school friend, a former colleague, a neighbor who moved away years ago. A single message, "Hey, I was thinking about you today," takes 30 seconds to send and can restart a connection that has enormous value for both of you. Now, I want to revisit social media for a moment because I know that for many of you, Facebook is your primary digital social tool. And I want to be clear about that. Facebook can genuinely help with loneliness under the right conditions. If you're using Facebook to actively communicate with real people in your life, then it helps. If you're using Facebook to participate in groups where people share your interest and you actually engage with them, it helps. If you're using Facebook to scroll through a feed of curated highlight reels while never posting, never commenting, and never reaching out, the research says it makes loneliness even worse, not better. The platform is not the problem or the solution. Your behavior on the platform is what determines the outcome. So if Facebook is currently your primary connection to the world, I want to ask you an honest question. Are you using it to connect? Are you watching it and calling that connection? There is a difference here, and your brain knows the difference even when you don't. Now, here's something the research keeps pointing to that I think is deeply practical. It's not about how much technology you use. It's about whether it's woven into a consistent routine. A predictable, regular connection, even a short one, does more for loneliness than occasional intense contact. Think about what made your workplace social life valuable. It wasn't that every conversation was profound. It was that you saw the same people regularly. You had ongoing stories, shared references. It was a sense of continuity. You can build that digitally now. A standing Tuesday video call, a daily morning message to a friend, a weekly check-in in a group chat, a forum you visit every couple of days where people are starting to recognize your name. Regularity creates relationship, and relationship is the actual antidote to loneliness. Not the number of followers, not the number of apps on your phone. Regular, reciprocal human connection. Your smartphone can support that, but you have to decide if it's going to be used in that way. Now, I want to take a moment and speak directly to anyone who is watching this and feeling like loneliness is not a small problem. If you're in a place right now where the isolation feels heavy, where days pass without a real conversation, where you are not sure who you would call if something went wrong, I want you to hear me clearly. This is not a technology problem. Technology can supplement connection, But if the foundation of connection has significantly eroded, it needs to be rebuilt with real human support. Talk to your doctor. Many family physicians now screen for loneliness and social isolation as part of routine care. Look into programs in your community. In Canada, programs like the United Way Senior Services offer telephone befriending, in-home visits, and group programs specifically for isolated older adults. In the United Kingdom, Age UK offers free telephone befriending services, and in the United States, the AARP's foundation's Connect to Affect program provides resources and connections nationwide. These are real resources, and asking for them is not weakness. It's the same wisdom that leads you to see a doctor when something in your body isn't right. Your mental and social health deserve the same care. Now, we are near the end of this series. Over these 8 episodes, we've talked about some pretty hard things: loneliness, shame, anxiety, manipulation, the ways that technology can hurt you when you don't understand what it's doing. But we've also talked about real hope, real research, real tools that, used wisely, can make your life genuinely better. And I think that's the truth that most people are missing. Technology is not the enemy. Passive, unconscious, algorithm-driven technology use is the enemy. But technology used with intention, to reach out, to connect, to learn, to belong, that technology is one of the most powerful tools for human well-being ever created. You deserve to use it that way. And before I go, I want to ask you something. Is there someone in your life you've been meaning to call? Someone you think about but keep putting it off? Close this video when it's done and call them. Not a text, a call. Or better yet, a video call. That one act is worth more than anything else I could tell you today. If this episode resonated with you, please leave a comment below. Tell me about a connection in your life that technology has helped you maintain, because I know these stories are out there, and this community needs to hear them. And if someone you know is quietly struggling with loneliness, please share this video with them. No explanation needed, just send it. Now, next week, we arrive at the final episode of the Mind and the Machine series, and we are going to zoom all the way out and look at the biggest picture of all: why the digital divide is not just an inconvenience for older adults, it's a mental health crisis, and it is one that we can do something about. I'm Michael, and this is Tech for Grownups. Thank you for being here, and I will see you next week. Stay safe.